All right, hey everyone. We're gonna go through a double beat exercise where we take a single bar of classic 16th note double beat, 1E, a 2, and a, E, and, 4, and we're gonna grid those single eighth notes backwards through our sets of 2. So let's drum through it first and then we'll talk about it. This is at 86. So here's a basic visualization of what's going on here. I recommend that you write this out. It's really good practice for you to understand how to read this. If this were music notation with your 16th notes and your rest and your eighth notes, things like that. But this is just kind of a quick way to get the idea across. So here's the first pattern, 1E, a 2, and a, E, and, 4, and like I said, we're just gonna grid those single notes back through the exercise. So an advantage of doing this type of grid is that you're just playing, as you saw on the board there, we have 5 different patterns. So whereas in traditional 16th note double beat exercises, you'd play maybe that first pattern, repeat on your left hand, and then do a double bar on your right hand, which is good. You run into some different combinations there. Then you kind of loop the whole thing, play it all on your left. But I like doing this type of grid because it keeps you engaged mentally for a longer period of time. You're playing through different patterns. And so it's kind of like you're tricking yourself into practicing more, because if we were just to play, say, one of those passages over and over, at some point we would go, okay, what else can I do? How can I practice something different? And we would probably just crank up the met. We would speed it up, which is great. You should practice at faster and slower speeds as well. But I really like to play this exercise like we did here, just very open, very big, very slow. And another really, really big benefit of doing this type of grid is you get practice with having those single notes fall on different parts of the count, different parts of the beat, or different partials, as we would say. So let's go through those. So we'll drum through these one at a time. Make sure you understand how to count each pattern and how what you're playing in your hands lines up with your feet or doesn't. And we'll take a look at those single notes and how they shift. So the first pattern is going to be 1E, a 2, and a, E, and, 4, and. So that's going to be one of the easier patterns because those single notes, 4, and, start on a downbeat. So let's count that again, and we'll replace the numbers with foot. So we've got foot E, a foot, and a foot E, and, foot, and. So practice both ways. So the second pattern, we have 1E, a 2, and a, E, and. So we'll go through that, play that with, count it out with numbers. So we've got 1E, a 2, and a, E, and. Downbeat, next bar, with foot, foot E, a foot, and a foot E, and. So that's one of the trickier patterns because those single notes fall on the foot E, a foot, and a foot E, the E and the So if it's tripping you up a little bit, I would just practice kind of just hang around that area. Don't try to play through the whole thing. Maybe if you need to just go foot E, a foot, and a foot E, Just get through that E and then see if you can land on that next foot. Foot E, a foot, and a foot E, a foot. Once you're comfortable with that, go ahead and add in the last downbeat, or the last double beat rather. Foot E, a foot, and a foot E, and downbeat. Cool, home free. The third pattern is a little bit easier because our single notes are going to start on an and now. They're going to be and foot. So if we were to count it out, we would have 1 E, a 2, and 3, and a E, and. So here we go. 1 E, a 2, and 3, and a E, and. Downbeat with foot. Foot E, a foot, and a foot E, and. Downbeat, next bar. So this fourth pattern is going to be a little bit trickier again. We're going to have our single eighth note starting on an and then be on an E afterwards. So we're going to have 1 E, a 3, and a E, and. So here we go with the numbers. 1 E, a 3, and a E, and. Downbeat, and with the foot. Foot E, a foot, and a foot E, and. One more time. Foot E, and if that's as far as you get the first time, that's fine. Just do that a couple times. Foot E, a foot E. Let's keep going. Foot E, a foot, That might be a good next point to stop, good next checkpoint. Foot E, a foot E, a foot. Then once you get there, just probably try to finish it out. Foot E, a foot E, a foot, and a foot E, and downbeat. And then our last pattern is one of the easiest ones. The first and last patterns are going to be the same in difficulty level because the eighth notes are right on a downbeat. So here we have 1 and 2 E, a 3 and a E and. So with numbers, 1 and 2 E, a 3 and a E and downbeat. Now with foot, foot and foot E, a foot and a foot E and downbeat. So the emphasis in this exercise is definitely on the rhythms and understanding how to count what you're playing and how it lines up with your feet. But as far as the physical aspect of double beat, we've talked about this in other double beat exercises where if you could play through single legato strokes at the same speed that you're practicing your double beat exercise, it's going to make sure your second note in your set of 2 notes is going to be a strong second note. So for instance, we ran through this at 86. So they would really be 16th notes here. It's not an 8th note exercise, but it still would be a legato 16th note exercise. So if you practiced your legatos at that speed, and then you just thought about taking every 3rd note out, that's gonna give you a strong second note in your double beat. All right, let me know if there's anything in particular you guys would like me to go over. If you have any questions in general about drumline or auditioning or technique, feel free to shoot me an email. And if you want to hop over to the website, timwoodtheory.com, I'll have all these exercises organized into categories. So if you really just want to hit a double beat or rolls exercise, something like that, they will be in their separate sections. And I'll have PDFs to these soon. I'll upload them as quickly as I can. All right, hope that helps. Have fun, good luck. See you next time.